Hello, everyone, and welcome to 0 to 0, a pointless football podcast for fans and non-fans alike. Where we pit someone who knows some football, that would be me, Fixxxer, against someone who doesn't know anything about football whatsoever, that would be Tulkas. What's up, Tulkas?
Good choice! Why don't you say he Tulkas?
He Tulkas?
Yeah, it used to be. That would be me, Fixxxer, and someone that doesn't know anything about football. That would be he Tulkas.
I'm changing it up. I'm being dynamic.
Woo! You're innovative. Why do you always have to change? You changed your channel image, and I will hate you forever for that.
I can live with that. Last week's score, I was 9-7, and you were 7-9. How do you feel about that?
I had a dream that I got them all right.
Well, great. I'll take that into consideration in putting your score down.
Good.
All right, let's move on. First game, Thursday Night Football. That should be tonight. That would be the Los Angeles Chargers at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs pulled out a win in overtime last week in their first game without Kareem Hunt. Ware filled in pretty well. We'll see if that continues, although at the time of this recording, he is listed as doubtful, where that is. The Chargers, they beat the Bengals. They're still without Gordon, and his backup, Eckler, was also injured last week and is listed as out right now. I'm not sure who in the hell they're going to have run the ball. Anyways, both teams are banged up at the skill positions, and it means it's anyone's games. Also, did you see that no-look pass that Mahomes had last week, Tulkas?
No, I didn't.
I have never seen anything like it. He threw the ball in a direction his head was not facing, and it was a bullseye. The kid is unreal. I'm going to go with the Chiefs at home.
Ooh, that sounds like fun. Do you think I could pull off a no-look pass?
Yeah, sure. I mean, completing it is another story, but yeah.
Oh, cool. Could we do it in the UHC sometimes?
Oh, yes, certainly.
Because, I'm good at UHC. Maybe I press Q to throw my sword to Morocco, but then I'm already going the other direction. Oh, it would be great. Fun. So tell me, Fixxxer, what do you think is the best prank I've ever done?
I don't know. I couldn't list one.
Okay, well, we'll get back to that at the end of the episode. So the Chiefs won the last time they did battle, but I reckon that if the Chargers can take down the Bengals, they can take on the Chiefs too. Last time they fought, I was like, oh, the Chiefs are going to win. They're going to dodge around, and the Chargers are going to try to charge in with their lances. The Chiefs will dodge and weave. If anyone's going to dodge and weave, it's got to be the Kitty Cat. They're just going to duck under the spears. They didn't duck under the spears. So if they didn't duck under the spears, then how can the Chiefs go around the spears? It's easier to duck than it is to go around. Would you not agree?
I would agree.
So yeah, I reckon our boys, the Chargers, are going to wreck face.
All right, Chargers for you. Houston Texans. This is the... Wait a minute. This is a Saturday football game. Oh, the Saturday games are out now. So, Saturday football, this is 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, I want to say. Houston Texans at the New York Jets. And what do you know? The Jets won a game behind Darnold. Their offensive line protected him well and kept him on his feet. Not an entirely impressive game overall, but a win is a win. The Texans, they lost to the Colts 24-21. In a game they certainly had a chance of winning. They shut down the run game and forced Luck to beat them in the air, and he did. I don't think they'll have any issue with the Jets, though. Texans win.
That's right! The Hoosiers rule and Fixxxer's rule, and the Jets are going to win because Fixxxer's stupid.
I had serious issues typing in NYJ in our spreadsheet. All right, I picked the Texans. Tulkas picks the Jets. Next up, we're going into Saturday evening, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm pretty sure you want to double-check the time. Cleveland Browns at the Denver Broncos. Despite having 10 fewer first downs and losing the turnover battle, the Browns managed to beat the Panthers last week. Those are the kind of games good teams have to win. Brown fans are surely besides themselves, I would think. Denver, they lost a tough one to the Niners, largely due to their awful third down play at just 2-15, which forced them to go for it on fourth 7 times, at which they converted 5. Anyway, Denver usually has Cleveland's number, but this is a new Cleveland team. Denver desperately needs this win, though, if they want to make the playoffs. I think it's a bit of a toss-up. I think Denver's going to be desperate, and they're at home. It's tough to win in Denver, so I'll go with Denver.
So now we need to analyze Fixxxer TV, how it was that the Browns were able to defeat the Panthers. Because if you remember, I expected the Panthers would win, did I not?
You did. It was almost like you were wrong.
Yes, and that's not really possible because of the concept of papal infallibility. So we have to understand what unforeseen circumstances led to this loss. So we've been imagining the Browns and various guys who've been trying to figure out, okay, they're losing usually, but winning occasionally. So what is Brown that loses usually but wins occasionally? So now our new theory is that the Browns represent fecal matter, which is able to bring bacteria, and they're able to mask the biological warfare upon the Panthers. So the Panthers are like, oh, we're going to be Panthers, and then the Browns had biological warfare into the Panthers, and they died.
So you're going to say that the Browns are pretty much going to win via diphtheria or something?
I don't know what that is, but sure. Now, my theory for this week is that the Broncos, okay, they're riding their horse. No, the Broncos are the horse, aren't they? The Broncos are the horse, I think. The Broncos are horses, right? Yes. The Broncos are untamed horses, and they're going to be being all untamed, running around, and they're going to be too fast for the bacteria to get into them. The bacteria is going to be and the Broncos will be going away. So the Broncos are going to win because they're going to dodge the bacteria.
Are you not missing an opportunity to do some kind of Trojan horse type analogy here with the Browns representing bacteria from fecal matter?
No, I am not, because, well, see, you have to understand the way my mind works, Fixxxer TV. I don't think you understand the way my mind works, do you, Fixxxer?
Probably not.
You see, the thing is that the Trojan horse is the one part of the Iliad that everyone knows. They know that the Trojan horse, and they know that Achilles could only be damaged on his heel. Of course, that latter is not true in the Iliad. Achilles does actually get wounded on his side at one point, so the Achilles heel thing is not relevant for the Iliad. But the only part that people know about the Iliad that actually happens is the Trojan horse, even though the Trojan horse doesn't happen until after the Iliad ends. So now, if I am to make a joke about the Trojan horse, I am to stoop, to reduce myself to the level of the vulgar, uneducated masses. And my ego, Fixxxer TV, my ego is far too grand to allow that to occur. Do you understand now?
I'm glad you have standards.
Okay, good. Okay, now, you know this about me, so I never want to hear you mention the Trojan horse around me again, because I don't want to be everyone like everyone else, Fixxxer. You want to be like everyone else. You want to be, I'm going to do Kingdom and change my channel art and do all this stuff just to appeal to the lowest common denominator. But no, when you go low, I go high, Fixxxer. When you go low, I go high.
Are you calling Diesel the lowest common denominator?
No, Diesel loves me. He's the highest denominator. He's higher than I am.
Okay, so who's going to win in this game again?
I forgot. The Chargers? Yeah, the Chargers.
Browns versus Broncos.
The Broncos. Okay, the Broncos are going to win because they're going to be able to dodge the bacteria. There you go. See how smart I am?
Yes. All right, moving on to Sunday early afternoon games. The Washington Redskins at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Redskins are a mess. Sanchez was pilled after. Wait, what did I write here?
Pilled. He was pilled after.
He was pilled. That should be pulled. After an awful performance, paving the way for Josh Johnson, who has not played since 2011, who did indeed play better, though. He had more rushing yards than AD anyways. Jaguars, they got routed by the Titans. Bortles' era is officially over, and the Kessler era is probably only got 3 games left in it.
No!
It's going to end. The Jaguars were 2-12 on third down, and their running game was once again non-existent. I really don't know who to pick here. A team led by Josh Johnson or a team led by Cody Kessler. I think I'll go with the Skins very reluctantly.
Did the Jaguars win last week?
No, they got spanked by the Titans.
Okay. I was going to say that the Jaguars were going to maul the Redskins, but now it occurs to me that without Bortles, the team has lost its moral center. You know, Blake Bortles, the Penguin, really was the moral heart of the National Football League. And without the moral heart of the National Football League, my monitor just turned off. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Okay. Oh, no signal entering the... Okay, go away. Come back to me, monitor. Okay. So yeah, that's the plan. The Jaguars have lost the moral center, and so they will crumble before the onslaught of the Redskins.
All right, man, the Miami Dolphins at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings' playoff chances are hanging by a thread after their loss to Seattle. They fired DiFilippo, which I think was the right move. The offense had spurts at times this year, but was shut down too often from poor play calling. I think DiFilippo's experiment is officially over. Stefanski takes over as offensive coordinator, as he probably should have in the first place. Miami pulled off a crazy win versus the Patriots last week on a last-second bomb. A few laterals later, and one Gronk falling on his face on defense, and a miracle win had happened. Tannehill had 265 yards and 3 touchdowns, a pretty nice game from him. The Vikings need this more than the Dolphins do, and they're pretty desperate, and at home, I'll go with the Vikings.
There's no salt water in Minnesota, Fixxxer. We've been over this. Gosh.
We couldn't have because the Dolphins have not faced the Vikings yet this year.
Well,
They may have been
really?
Wisconsin.
Oh, fine, whatever.
But your point stands, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Oakland Raiders at the Cincinnati Bengals. I give up. The Raiders beat the Steelers, and I have no idea which way is up. They even had 13 penalties to the Steelers, too. Neither team could run the ball. It just doesn't make sense, Tulkas. Nothing makes sense. AJ Green is on IR for the Bengals team. And despite flailing about, they put up a fight against the Chargers. Word came out of the city of Oakland is suing the Raiders, which means the Raiders cannot play there next year, which will be their transition year before they move to Las Vegas. So the Raiders literally do not know where they're going to be playing next year. My guess would be San Diego, probably. Anyways, they've played pretty well the last few games. The Raiders have, and it's been against pretty good teams. So I'm ready to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think the Raiders are going to beat the Bengals.
They could play in Indianapolis.
Yeah, but no, because it's too far. They're going to play somewhere on the West Coast.
Why not? What if we moved Indianapolis to the West Coast?
That would be ideal, really.
What if we treated Indianapolis less as a place and more as a state of mind?
Well, the problem is football has to take place in a place.
Yeah, but what if they created their own place with a state of mind?
So you're saying you want a West Coast Indianapolis state of mind?
Yes. So we're going to have the state of Indiana and the state of mind. And these two will form a vast alliance, and they're going to conquer the state between them. And then they're going to go outwards, and then they're going to genocide the Texans.
Could we just call it like West Indianapolis?
Giddy up. Okay. So, I mean, forget it. I'm not even doing the Equatorial Guinea thing anymore. It was a bad idea, poorly executed. I'm ashamed of myself. I just punched my keyboard. I guess, the path to victory for the Raiders here is going to be try to eliminate the food source of the Bengals, go into India, the undergrowth, and, kill whatever the Bengals eat in India, and then force them to come out of the jungle and go into, the towns and villages hunting cattle, where then we'll have the farmers in India kill the Bengals. But I don't think that's a good idea. I think that the Bengals will just get hungry, and then they'll just be lean and mad, and they're going to go maul the Raiders. So yeah, Bengals win.
All right, Detroit Lions at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills lost to the Jets in a game they probably should have won. Josh Allen was 18 of 36 with 200 yards and 2 interceptions. He did get banged around a lot by the Jets' defense. The Lions, they beat the Cards 17-3 last week, holding David Johnson to just 50 yards. Stafford had only 100 yards passing. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before. With Jones Jr. and Johnson gone, this offense has been pretty weak. Johnson is listed as questionable this week, and I think they're going to need him. I'm not sure how to pick this. I think the Bills will win a low-scoring game, especially if Kerryon Johnson is out.
I think the Lions will win because they're going to go raw.
And the Bills are scared of raw, aren't they?
Yeah, the Bills can't go raw.
Tennessee Titans at the New York Football Giants. Eli Manning had 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, while Barkley tore it up with 170 rushing yards and a touchdown in their win versus the Skins. Barkley makes this offense dynamic. I know fans wanted the Giants to draft a quarterback, but Barkley has been special, and I can't really blame them for drafting him. The Titans, they stomped the Jags last week, but these days I guess that's not too big a deal. The offensive line protected Mariota well, as they often do, and Derrick Henry had a career day with 240 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. Now, the Giants don't play against the run very well, and if Henry is hot, he can have another field day. The exciting matchup will be Barkley versus the Titans defense. This is a hard one to pick. All the Titans games have been hard to pick this season. I think I'm going to go with the Titans.
The Titans versus the Giants. This reminds me of the campaign in the New Atlantis, or the scenario in the New Atlantis, where our boy Castor and Amanra and Ajax, they all go off to the Northlands, where they meet King Fullstag. There's a Titan rampaging through the villages, so you have to stall the Titan long enough for Fullstag to call his brothers and summon an army of frost giants from all the settlements that the Titan is trying to kill. Then you get to kill the giant with Nidhogg. Nidhogg! Fixxxer TV, do you remember Nidhogg?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and then he killed the Titan. It's so cool. But unfortunately, now we have Titans, plural. And I think the analogy we're going here is less Age of Mythology and more Hearthstone. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would.
So it's the Giants, they're a control deck, like a Control Warrior. But Titans are like an even heavier control deck to beat control. They're going to lose to some forms of aggro, but they just throw in random stuff I don't know, Marin the Fox or whatever. And, they're just able to eke out, they're just able to out-control the control. The Titans are able to out-giant the Giant. They're going to go boom, 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 roar. And yeah, the Titans have weakness against myth units, but if you have a similar number of Titans and a similar number of Giants, it doesn't matter because the Giants, they're just going to go roar.
Giants are just going to go roar, and Tennessee's going to win then.
Giddy up.
All right, next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Baltimore Ravens. The Bucs gave the Saints a good fight, perhaps learning from the Cowboys the week before. It was a pretty even game despite the point differential. The Saints defense seemed to be the difference maker there. Baltimore also put up a good fight against the Chiefs and a loss there. Lamar Jackson had only 150 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns and 70 yards rushing. Their defense got to Mahomes a lot, but he still had a great game, as he usually does. I think their defense can contain the Bucs, and Jackson should have a field day once again. I'm going with the Ravens.
Presently, my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. Sir, said I, or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is, I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Ravens.
Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears again. Early Sunday afternoon game. With McCarthy gone, Rodgers threw for 200 yards and two touchdowns. The defense got a couple turnovers to help the cause. I didn't watch the game, so I couldn't say if they looked like a different team quite yet. I guess I'll see soon. Chicago, they kind of stamped its place in a higher tier last week in shutting down the Rams. Trubisky had one of his worst games, but Mack and the defense had his back, and they completely shut the Rams down. I'll go with the Bears over the McCarthy-less pack.
Yeah, so similar to the Browns this week, I've always been trying to figure out how we weaponize meat packing, because the Packers, they win some games, which means they have to at least have some form of military.
I have an idea.
Okay, do tell me for now.
So you're a big Overwatch fan, right?
Ew, no.
Okay.
Overwatch took Matt and the Hat away from Hearthstone, and I will never forgive it for that.
So Overwatch has this character called Roadhog, and I think I got something here. Now, Wisconsin has a lot of cheese, right?
Yeah.
And the Midwest are known to be full of festively plump people. Is that correct?
No.
What do you mean, no?
No, everyone in the Midwest is in perfect physical condition due to the influencing powers of Indiana.
I think Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota are considered festively plump.
I think you're stupid.
All right, so let's consider the Wisconsinites being festively plump, and being that they're meat packers, they're hanging carcasses on meat hooks, right? This is very similar to Roadhog in Overwatch, who is a festively plump dude. He has a hook on a chain that he uses to grab people, pull them close so he can punch them in the face.
Interesting.
So that's how I would weaponize meat packers.
So we're having like a ball and chain except instead of the ball, it's a slab of meat.
No, it's a metal hook.
A metal hook.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a meat hook.
No, that's an interesting idea. Isn't there like some Overwatch song that's like, "Go be Tracer, I'm already Tracer"?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
But that's how you weaponize meat packing.
Okay, so that's interesting. So we're gonna have our boys with their hooks. They're gonna be trying to hook the bears. But the problem is, like, how can you hook the bear? The bear just you're trying to pull on the bear and then the bear goes maul. So
yeah, I'm not sure you want to pull the bear close to you.
Yeah, so whether Fixxer's little theory there is a misdirection on his part or not, I think the Bears will win.
All right, Dallas Cowboys against the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. The Colts pulled out a win against the Texans, and Luck had another big day. T.Y. Hilton alone had 199 yards. On the other hand, Amari Cooper had a day of his own over for the Cowboys, catching 217 yards and 3 touchdowns. I don't expect either to have a similar day this week. Dak lost another fumble. Fumbleina has to protect the ball if he wants to beat the Colts, who aren't exactly a ball-hawking defense, so, he might have a chance. It's a toss-up, really, for me. I think I'm going to go with the Colts at home. Sorry, Diesel.
Explain to me the name Fumbleina.
It's like the guy fumbles, and it's like a cross between that and Fumbleina.
Who is Tumbleina?
The Tumbleina dances and Tumbleina sings.
Okay, if you say so. Well, I'm sad because I don't want to fight Diesel, but I have to fight Diesel. But as we established earlier, Diesel is the highest denominator, and so the Cowboys. All they do, the whole point of being a cowboy is to tame a wild horse. And what is the Colt? It's not a wild horse. In the untamed wilderness of Indiana. But the Diesel's gonna come, and I don't want to do it.
So Cowboys win, or are you going to leave it up to Diesel?
No, Cowboys win.
Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers. We're moving on to Sunday afternoon games. Russell Wilson was held to just 70 yards passing, yet Seattle still somehow pulled out a win on the back of their running game and Wilson's feet. They go up against a Niners team that put down Denver. Mullins had 330 yards and 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception, and beating a pretty good team last week. Seattle wins this week, though.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks, they've, like 2 weeks ago or whatever, they went rawr maul on the 49ers, so I reckon they'll do it again.
New England Patriots at the Pittsburgh Steelers. New England had been mocked all week for putting Gronk in on defense for the final play, as they should be. His bumbling cost them a touchdown at the very end, whereas an actual defensive back may have saved the game. The Steelers, they've lost 3 in a row and are now 7-5. Their running game was awful, and Connor is listed as questionable again this week. If their kicker made his kicks, they would have pulled out a win. The Steelers, they need a win here as they're in a fight with the Ravens for the division, and they got the Saints coming up too. I think they're desperate, but I think the Patriots can hold them off. They bounce back and win.
I disagree. I think you're wrong, Fixxxer TV.
About which part?
All the parts. Okay. You see, I have determined through my research that there were 3 kinds of metal commonly in use during the Revolutionary War: cast iron, wrought iron, and steel. Now, steel, out of those three, was present in the smallest quantities. However, it was used for the most critical components, like knives, or, crucially, in a flintlock pistol, the pistol that Revolutionary War soldiers would use on both the British and American sides. This flintlock pistol was ignited. Like, you have a piece of metal, and it strikes some steel, and then the steel ignites the gunpowder that fires the bullet. But if the Steelers have control over the steel, then the Patriots cannot use their weapons. And then if the Steelers have their own, arms of Steelers, the Patriots, they're just going to charge with bayonets. But I think the bayonets are probably also made of steel. So, I mean, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They can't do anything. They're just hopeless. They're hopeless, Fixxxer. They're hopeless. At youtube.com/FixxxerTV.
And I'll put a link in the description below for Tulkas.
Mm.
So Tulkas picks the Steelers. I picked the Patriots. All right. Sunday evening, the Philadelphia Eagles will be at the Los Angeles Rams. So the Rams may not be the super team we thought they were. Really, going back, they've given up a lot of points to a lot of teams. Many of their wins have been close. I don't want to say they're overrated, but I think it's an argument that may be able to be made. They faced the Eagles, who lost to their rival Cowboys last week. Even though Wentz had 230 yards and 3 touchdowns, I think he'll have another good day against the Rams. I think the Rams miss Cup, and this might be a trap game for them. Wentz will put up the numbers alongside Goff. I think it'll come down if the Eagles can stop Gurley, which I don't think they could do. It's close to a trap game, but I think Gurley will have his game. I'll go with the Rams.
The Rams can fly!
Does that mean they're never going to lose?
Yeah. Well, maybe. I mean, if they can, there's something that can counter the flying, but I mean, the Eagles can't counter the flying. I mean, the Rams have the raw power of a punch with their horns, coupled with the agility and mobility of flight. So, I mean, it's going to be really difficult for them to lose. I mean, maybe the Titans could pull it off, but I doubt it.
Mobility, sure, but are Rams that agile?
Well, I mean, no, fair enough. I mean, they're mobile, but like they're able to go, and maybe they aren't really able to turn, on a dime. But I don't know.
All right, the Monday Night Football game: the New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. Panthers have lost 5 in a row and are now 6-7, only to get put up against the Saints. And not only that, with only 3 games left, 2 of their remaining games are against the Saints. The good news is that the last 2 teams that have played the Saints have played them well, and the Panthers will try to copy what they did, as it is a copycat league. The Saints, they beat the Bucs 28-14. They passed well, they ran well, their defense is on point. They're beatable, but it's tough. I don't think the Panthers have it. Saints win.
So I googled what is the patron saint of Panthers, and for the first time so far, nothing came up. Like the top search result was like, oh, a Catholic priest is going to the Super Bowl or something. So, yeah, for the first time, the Saints will not be able to,
But the
defend.
Panther is basically the same animal as the Jaguar. So is there a patron saint of Jaguars?
I don't know, but I mean, if the Jaguars are going to renounce Blake Bortles, I can't imagine the Saints will be favoring them. So, or I don't even know what I'm saying. What did I just say? Okay, I just said
there's no patron saint for Panthers.
Yeah, that's the point. I don't care about your Jaguar. The Jaguar are a whole different thing. I think I said something stupid. I'm not sure what I said. I'm tired. I'm always tired. Why am I always so tired, Fixxxer TV? It's not fair, but yeah, the Panthers are going to maul, the Saints will not be able to. Whoa.
All right, moving on to our featured game, which is an early Sunday game. The Arizona Cardinals at the Atlanta Falcons. Let's get started with the Falcons, why don't we? They came into the league in 1965 as an expansion team, and they held a contest with a local radio station to name the team. The Falcons were submitted by many people, but one entry described the name, which sold the owner. The Falcon is proud and dignified, with great courage and fight. It never drops its prey. It is deadly and has great sporting tradition. And that's what sold the owner on choosing the Falcons. The fan was therefore awarded season tickets for 3 years, and there were other names in consideration for the team, including the Peaches, which is kind of obvious, but I'm not so sure a great name for a football team. The Vibrants, again, not so sure it's a great name for a football team. The Lancers, not a big fan. The Confederates, boy, would that have gone over well. The Firebirds and the Thrashers, and of course we know that Atlanta eventually got a hockey team and called them the Thrashers.
Who would you say is the most vibrant Strangelander?
Vibrant?
Yes, the most vibrant Strangelander.
I'm not sure. I don't know people well enough to be able to call them vibrant.
Can I be vibrant?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah!
That was maniacal, Tulkas.
I'm vibrant.
All right, the Cardinals. This is an interesting history. They're the oldest franchise in the NFL. I bet you didn't know that.
I'm going to change my name to Tulkas the Vibrant.
All right, so they began as the Morgan Athletic Club in 1898. Soon after, they were known as the Racine Normals, which was named after the field that they played upon. Imagine that, a team called the Normals. Anyways, they were that until 1901, and the word is that the team owner then purchased used jerseys from the University of Chicago, which were faded and looked kind of like maroon color. And so playing it off as like intentional, he called the color Cardinal Red. And the team then became known as the Racine Street Cardinals.
My father was born in Racine.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
I think in which state? Because I think every state's got one.
Wisconsin. Racine, Wisconsin.
Well, there you go.
And my grandmother lives there currently, so I visit there often. They have that's the headquarters of SC Johnson, which is, Febreze and Glade and whatnot. And they have a cool headquarters designed by architect Frank Lloyd Wright. And there's a cool, little downtown that you get across the bridge, and there's a little zoo, and it's on Lake Michigan. Lots of fun.
Lovely.
Fun place.
Lovely. Well, this isn't Racine City. This is Racine Street. In Illinois. Anyways, so...
Ooh, I've seen that on package labels. Okay.
There you go. So they joined the NFL in 1920 as the Racine Cardinals, and in 1922, they switched to the Chicago Cardinals. They moved the team to St. Louis in 1960 because the Bears were basically putting them out of business, and they were about to go bankrupt. They played there until 1987 when they moved to Phoenix and became the Phoenix Cardinals. And in 1994, they changed their name to the Arizona Cardinals. How about those apples?
How does being the state of bird of Indiana fit in?
It doesn't in any way, shape, or form.
Oh! Fixxxer! We get to tie this back. Because Indiana is a state of mind. They've been able to go. They've been able to go to all these places and turn them each into their own personal Indiana because they have Indianapolis as a state of mind. Woo!
I'm sure that is precisely the issue. All right, on to the game. A pretty uninteresting game, to be honest. Both teams are out of the playoffs. They have one win between them in their last 10 games. Atlanta's offense seems to be the tiebreaker here, so I'm just going to go with them. Falcons win.
Okay, yeah, I reckon the Falcons, as much as I admire the financial prowess of the Cardinals, the Falcons, they're predator, Cardinals are prey. So, Fixxxer, what is the greatest prank I've ever done?
Are you really expecting me to think about this while I am talking throughout the podcast?
You're expected to think about it while I am talking throughout the podcast.
Well, my memory is shot. I couldn't tell you your best prank. I'm going to go with Shea Brains because you weren't involved.
That's offensive.
What do you think was your best prank?
There's the vining. Remember the vining?
I do not remember the vining.
Exacted holy retribution, of course. You wouldn't remember the vining. I don't know. And there was a time earlier when I picked all the same teams as you in the podcast. But what people have to know is that for the Kingdom series, I have been using Fixxxer's real channel logo in my thumbnail, and I have been so proud. It's been an epic act of defiance. And for Diesel this week, Diesel can do the same thing. Did Diesel win last week?
Who did Diesel pick? I don't remember.
He picked the Dolphin game thing.
Yes.
I said that the Patriots could not win versus the Dolphins because the Dolphins were in British-controlled Florida, which the Patriots would be not in a position to mount an offensive upon. However, he was like, I don't know, I guess the Dolphins will win.
Well, the Dolphins did win.
How did they win?
It was they were actually going to lose, and at the last second, with time off the clock, they threw a bomb, and a guy caught it. He lateraled the pass. I think it was 2 laterals. You know what a lateral is?
I don't think bombs existed in colonial times.
Probably not. So they lateraled the ball, and he got out into the open field against Rob Gronkowski, who is their tight end, and who should not be in the backfield. And they ran right by him, and he fell on his face, and everybody rejoiced.
Rejoice! Okay. I think that whatever you just said is a lie. I guess, I don't know, maybe the Patriots just went on a sick. Maybe they were able to enlist the Seminoles. I don't know why the Seminoles would join them, but maybe they got their help. I don't know. So thank you, everyone, for watching. We will see you next week for more NFL 0-0 with Fixxxer TV and Tulkas the Vibrant. Bye, everyone!
Bye-bye!